on this computer, I think. Okay, cool. We're good to go then. Okay, so I wanted to go over a few things. One is the boot camp group that like our team is doing, that the next challenge group that Shay and I are doing, and Cliff and whoever else wants to jump in on that. That's going to start, again, I think we talked about this March 27th, right? That's a Monday. And then April 2nd is like, April 2nd, April 3rd. Is April 3rd a Monday, Shay? Is that what we said? Oh, wait, you're muted. It's okay.
I can unmute. It's not a big deal.
It's okay.
Hi. Yeah, April 3rd.
Okay, April 3rd. So we're going to start on April 3rd. So March 27th, really try to get them to get set up. Here, I'll mute you. It's okay. Oh, there we go. Really try to get your people set up on their challenge pack and good to go and ready by March 27th is a good date, because then they're going to be able to get set up with BOD, because we'll go over like how BOD's important and things like that. And so she's so cute. So you want to make sure to do that, but you have till April 2nd is technically the last stage where you can get them in. And I like that because you can really reach out to a lot of people, but you can try to hit Success Club for April really soon by getting them in there, you know what I mean, on that date. Now, since it's a 30-day one, you really want them to have their stuff before we start. But if they get it, if they do order April 2nd BOD, at least they'll have BOD to start. You know what I mean? So that's one thing I wanted to go over. As far as the challenge group, and Shay, we haven't really like hammered out the details on that, but really, you guys, it's the same thing like every challenge group, just the check-ins, the accountability, and things like that. Really, on this one, I wanted to, like our prep week, to do a lot of the stuff that we did in the prep group, the meal prep group, because that worked really well. And I also want to do a focus on like cooking, because I think that will help a lot with people, just on like ways that because we don't spend a lot of time in the kitchen. We prep, but we don't spend a lot of time in the kitchen. So, just simple like ideas and tips on cooking, because some people just, need to learn ways to cook healthier, what to use, different oils maybe, or,
Oh, I love that. I love that, because so many people just don't know, like healthy replacements, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and awesome. You can, and then like the grocery store thing, like Shay and I, we talked about as far as that. So Shay's putting together that, I'm gonna help her with it as far as like a grocery. Is it like a grocery list, grocery store type, how to shop, right?
Yeah, just basically like taking a grocery shopping guide.
Yeah. So we're going to like tell people like that's a bonus in this group, because that's not usually, like in the other groups and stuff too. And Cliff he's got an Army background. So that's why we're taking the spin on this boot camp thing too, so he's got an Army background, and so I think, I don't know, we might like add some extra stuff in there too. And then of course a mental, personal, like a whole week, really focus on the mental part of it, like the personal development, mental training, that type of thing. So each week we'll kind of have like a theme. So like our prep week, we'll have like a cooking, we'll have our personal development focus, you know what I mean? Things like that. And then we could even have like a physical fitness type thing like we did in our groups before, which we're still kind of figuring that out, to where like kind of like a PT test, but not really, you know what I mean? Something like that. So just to make it fun. So those are just some things, but really the group is going to be just similar like the other groups, just some fun like themes and things like that. Okay, so the group, and then there was something else I want to talk about. So the prep week one, or the meal prep group or whatever, I did a video in there today with a call to action on stuff again. Really encourage you guys to follow up with your people on that. And I wanted to talk about that because Cliff and I have been having a lot of conversations lately about basically like how you're sharing with people, and how, because I'm going through and teaching him some things as he's, working the business full time. And a couple of things we noticed that we went over, and I'm going to have him share on like the Wufoo apps a little bit and how it's helped him. But so he was doing a lot on like messaging, right? Because we do a lot on Facebook Messenger or Instagram Messenger and stuff like that. And so I was asking him like, well, what kind of objections are you getting or things like that? Because I wanted to address them in the live call of the prep week or the meal prep group. And so he brought up some things like busyness or cost, or like people wanting to have the cost right away or what not, like all these things. And I was thinking, I'm like, I don't really get, as far as like objections, I don't really get too many. And I think the reason, as long as like I'm in contact with them, there's like, I think the reason is because I use the Wufoo apps and I get them off Facebook. And that has been huge like help to me. And so I kind of shared with him that. And the reason is because he's spending so much time. He was like talking to so many people, spending a ton of time going back and forth with these people. When all you have to do is legit, like I've been messaging people and say, oh, Bobby, he's tired. I message people and just say, hey, are you interested in our 30-day boot camp? Or no, I say, thanks for joining our meal prep group. Do you want to join us in our 30-day boot camp? And they'll say, hey, what are the details? What can you tell me more about it? And I'll say, sure, fill out my Wufoo app so I can get more information about you so I know if it'll help you, if it's something that's for you. Because here's the thing, we can tell them a million different things about our groups, but if it doesn't pertain to them, then they're not going to want to do it. So you gotta find, what is it that's going to help them, like, or what is it that they need out of the group? Is it the accountability and the support? Is it the nutrition programs? Is it, it could be all of that stuff too, but you got to find out more about them. And so I always like point people back to those 15 questions by Shay Stanford, because I think those are so important. But I think that's why the Wufoo apps have been so successful for me, because I have them fill it out and then I get them off Facebook. They're on my email now. And that means I save their email too. So when I do mass emails, or when I'm following up after people haven't signed up, let's say, and I have my next group, then I send them a message, like, I know you were interested, and it's through email. And I just really feel like it sets you apart as a coach, as somebody that's working their business on social media, when you get them off social media and you get them on email. And I know that's something that Micah uses too, so I know that's like helpful for her. But I really think getting it off the messenger and is going to be more, it's going to make the process quicker for you, because you don't have to go back and forth and find out all this stuff about them. You just send them an email with the questions you need answered. Then you can ask them a little bit more questions if you want through the email, but you also get more information to help them. You know what I mean? It makes it so much easier. It's more streamlined. So that's what I had to talk with Cliff about. And I was like, oh, you gotta cut it down. It's too much talking, cut it down. You want to find out more about them, but I got distracted. You want to find out more about them, but you don't need to give them a whole spiel about your group. You know what I mean? So anyways, so I wanted to talk about the Wufoo app. So I have Cliff here, so I'm just gonna like turn it over to him. So he's gonna kind of just share about the Wufoo app and how it's helped you.
So she explained everything in really great, thorough detail, so I don't have a whole lot to share anymore. But no, I'll just say that the time piece has definitely been huge, because as we attempt to have very consultative type conversations where we're truly understanding their needs and adding value to what they need, I'm not having to play 100 questions in 30 different conversations. I'm able to just send that out and then use that as a reference. And then whenever I craft my condensed message to them as to what value the boot camp adds or the program adds, I'm not having to have conversations over several days. I'm able just to reference that one single questionnaire, that application. And further, it also legitimizes the business too. I have a background in corporate recruiting, and so this is very similar to the processes that we use to recruit at a Fortune 500 company. And so I really think that it also changes the mindset of the individual that's interested in using our services and products, because now it's no longer of, hey, we're begging you to come, do this. It's a matter of, we're putting out, content that holds a lot of value, and they're having to go through a questionnaire or an application for us to determine whether or not it's a good fit for them. And so I think it legitimizes the business also.
Yeah, I think that, and I'll put on that, I think on that note, because there's so many different, you guys know, you get messages from other MLMs or people selling stuff or whatever, right? And so I really think that getting them off Facebook is it's solidifying that relationship a little bit more. It's not just oh yeah, so-and-so is messaging me, blah, 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 about selling something, whatever. It's look, I need to learn more about you to find out how I can help you. And you know what I mean? I just feel that's going to help a ton. I mean, you can do that through Messenger, but it's less I guess a lot of the other people that are selling things, because they're not getting them on email too, and did you have anything else to add as far as because we're talking a lot about because Cliff's job previously, was with corporate and sales. He did a lot with sales and recruiting. And so we've been talking just a lot about different things, how it's similar, how you can recruit and how you can, reach out to different people. So I don't know, was there anything else that helped you? What has helped you recently that you feel can help any of them?
Yeah, so I think also kind of, what she said, just to also just really drive that point home about changing the mindset of the prospect. And so in a Fortune 500 company and recruiting for large scale companies is all about making that job and that company and that brand and that culture so prestigious that you've got people lined up at the door waiting to get in and dying to be qualified. And so I haven't figured it out, but.
Well, it is something. And I think that's where, when you guys talk, how we're putting your posts out there, put it out there with confidence, put it out there because people can tell. Josh Coach shares about this. People can tell your attitude. They can tell how you feel, through just the posting that you're using. And there have been times when I talk about coaching where I just say, yeah, coaching's been great, da, 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 da. But when I'm look, I'm really looking for people that want to change their lives. And, when you change it to a different tone, you're more confident in what you're doing, then people see it and they react and they respond to that. So I think that goes in with what he's saying on that, but also in with the challenge group, I always say open enrollment has started and I'm only taking a handful of people, and open enrollment will end April 2nd. You know what I mean? And when you put something on that and then somebody reaches out to you April 4th, yeah, you can get them set up, but then it's okay, we can get you set up, but our next, I'm talking maybe April 10th or something. You know what I mean? Someone gets set up and you're our next, they're going to miss out on that beginning of that group. You know what I mean? You still want to get them okay, let's get you going, blah, blah, blah. But it's totally different than if they got set up. You know what I mean? On, during that prep week. And or during that first week. And so they can really get everything that we're saying in that 30 days. On that note, I was going to say something else, but I forgot.
Yeah, another mistake I was making was just, something you learn in basic sales 101, don't dump truck the prospect. And so I was doing that, I was getting in, they're interested. And I'm all right, let me tell you how freaking awesome this is. And I gave them every little bit of detail and I was losing people.
Yeah.
Because I was sharing way too much information. I was sharing information that didn't add any value to them because they didn't even need it.
Yeah. And that goes back to the Wufoo apps. Because it's again what is it how can you help that person? Copy the Wufoo apps. I think Shay and we use the same one, right? Basically. We just use it from Micah. And you can copy those links. We can post them in the team page, but yeah, look at what they're telling you and use what they're telling you. What do they need fixed? What help do they need? And show them how you can help that need. Don't tell them a million other stuff because that's not going to apply to them. And that's where I think that we feel we lose people. So, okay, that was the main.
Yeah. How much luck are you having in getting the WooFoo forms back? Because that seems to be where I lose people. I send them the WooFoo form and I follow up and I'm not getting it back.
I sent out 7 last night and got 6 back last night.
Yeah, I get them back a lot, but I don't tell them a whole bunch up front. So what I do is I say, I invite them. They say, "Can you tell me more information?" And I say, "Yeah, but let me know what you're like. Can you take a few minutes, fill out my application so that I can learn more on how to help you and what you need and if this applies to you." And that's where I leave it. And then they're like, "Sure, of course." If they don't fill it out, I've never had anyone say they were going to fill it out and not fill it out. And I don't give them a link yet. I say, "Can you?" And when they say yes, then I give it to them. If they just ignore me, then that, just doesn't happen. But so that's probably why we have such a return rate, because they ask for more information. You say, "Can you take a few minutes so I can help you?"
They always want to ask about cost, and I say, "Yeah, I don't know. Well, give me some information. Fill out this questionnaire so that I can understand what the cost will be specifically."
Yeah, because you honestly, what if somebody is like leaving in 30 days to go to a different country and they can't use BOD? What if they just need one program with DVDs and Shakeology?
That was an example that happened to me.
Yeah, so it's going to be a different $40, $140. It's not going to be, it's not going to be $200. You know what I mean? So you can't give them a cost up front until you actually know what they need. Unless you're trying to, and that was one reason I think you guys that Beachbody went away with a lot of the sales, is because people were pushing the sales. Can you guys hear me okay? Is it frozen? Oh, wait.
We can hear you.
Okay. I think what was happening, and this was something that Micah brought up, that people were pushing the challenge pack that was on sale and not looking at what the person needed, So you just got to find out. You got to find out more about them and then go from there. Does anyone have any questions on that stuff? This is why we have a baby that doesn't sleep, because he's tired and we bounce him. This
is all him. He's doing this all on his own.
Does everybody on the call just, we're kind of using that WooFoo link. Does everybody know what that is? I know that Holly and Marcia, do you know what WooFoo, what we're talking about? Brad?
Well, this is Marcia. Back when I was actively coaching more, I made a form on Google Apps, and I just took the questions directly off of Patty's form and get my own on Google Apps. Is that okay?
Awesome. Yeah, you don't have to use the WooFoo. WooFoo is just a free website. There's a lot out there, but if Google Forms works for you, awesome.
Yeah,
for sure. It's really to I think it weeds out the people that aren't serious, like Tara said. Yeah. It weeds out the people who aren't serious, and it allows you to get their contact information, and it allows you to learn more about them. And so you can really find that program that works best for them. Even if you're going to sell them BOD, you still got to put them on a program. And if they're telling you that they have, if you don't ask the question and you tell them to do 21-day fix, but they have really bad knees, or, they hate dancing, and you put them on country heat, it's just kind of, that's what those forms are really good for, just kind of to find a program. But I think for me, Tara, I like what Patty said, because I'm the same with you. Sometimes I send that link, maybe I'm sending it too quick. And I like how she says, "Would you fill this out?" And I don't send it until they do. So I think that's going to be a big difference for me.
I think a lot of times it's kind of like just with little kids. It's just like little baby steps, because we get so excited and we want to just like blurt out everything, but we just have to do one little thing at a time. Like, can you do this? Will you do this? You know what I mean? Ask them from that. And then something else I wanted to say. I keep losing it. Oh, gosh. There's something on the WooFoo forms while I was in. Oh, I was just going to say, like, some of the tips I gave him when he's emailing people back to, usually what I'll do is I'll say, so I start out with something positive. This is something I learned back when I would do personal training and nutrition consultations. and because they would send me their sports nutrition, or they would send me, you know, like if I was doing training for the week and they're like checking in with their food logs or whatever. So first thing is you compliment them, find something good that they're doing. And usually I'll say like, thank you so much for filling out my health and fitness app. First, I really like how you're so in detail with your eating, or something like that. I like how you pay attention already to what you're putting into your body. Or it could be like with him today, we said, I really love your goals of ooh, that's weird. It's like echoing. I really love your goals of weight loss and wanting to have more energy to be a better mom. Whatever it is, like find something in that, because it's hard when we get back something that says we need to work on something with ourselves. So you want to build them up first, you know, build them up and acknowledge, sorry, Bobbies, acknowledge the good things in that as you're going through it, you know? So yes, bring out the things that you can help them with, just say, you know, and that's something that I do. So I go through their app and I see, okay, the first thing is talking about their food logs, what they had. So I go through and I say something maybe like, I really like how you paid attention to getting breakfast in your day, but I see that we can add some more vegetables, you know, in your diet. And that's important because, you know, blah, blah, blah. And the cool thing is that in the program that we have, you get to actually pay attention to the, you know, I bring up the color system a lot, but I keep it short and sweet, and I can always share like examples of how I do it. I just say, you know, we use a color system, you get a balanced diet, you get, you know, as far as your nutrition intake, you know what you're taking in. So that's what I do. And then I just go down the list and I say, I see that like you're a runner. That's awesome. You know that it's important with running to be able to do cross training too. So, you know, I might ask them another question. Do you do anything like this or blah, blah, blah? Have you ever thought about doing this? You know what I mean? So I don't just give them a spiel about, okay, I get their Wufoo app. Now let me tell them everything. I find the things in their app and I say, okay, how will this be helpful to them? And I tell them just going through it. And I think it does take a little bit of time, you guys. You know, you do have to respond. You have to email them back. It does take a little bit more time than the Facebook Messenger. It is more personal. And I think that's where people feel okay with sharing on that stuff and they feel better about that connection, you know?
Hey, Brad, I'll send you what I'm using right when we get off this call.
Okay, thanks.
You bet.
The guys are a little different.
I also wanted to tell one thing too is I always thank them for filling it out. Because I was like, wow, thank you so much for sharing that. I know that takes a lot of courage to share something so personal with someone you don't know. And I really appreciate that. And then I also get them excited. I'm like, judging by your form, I know that, you know, where you're at right now, you're whatever your goals are. But I know that, this is really going to work for you. And you really pump them up too. But I think we also have to remember, we forget, especially being in the health industry, that, you know, a lot of people, this is a really personal issue for them. They don't want to put it on Facebook. They don't, like, sometimes some people, women, like their husbands don't even know how much they weigh. I mean, it's extremely, they're self-conscious. They won't eat in front of people. This isn't something they talk about on a normal basis. And I think we have to remember that. So when they share something very personal with you, that we should definitely acknowledge them for that.
Yeah. And I like that a lot. And I like the excitement too. I was telling him I joke around. I'm like, I always put a couple of like emojis in there and whoop whoop and let's do this and exclamation marks. I'm like, you gotta like get pumped up about it, about the whole thing. Okay, so that was the main thing that I wanted to go over was the Wufoo apps, the boot camp. I felt like there was something else, but I don't remember. Oh, your activity trackers. Did you guys fill out your activity trackers?
Yes.
Yay. Okay.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Oh, you heard me. Okay. This is Holly.
Awesome.
Okay. Just checking.
Here we go. Okay, so cool. So post, if you haven't filled out the Google activity tracker, then post a copy of like your activity in the comments of like the call in the team page. And I'll share on that too. If anyone's used Teamsy in the past, that's something that Cliff's using. I stopped using it because it was all on the computer. Their site is mobile friendly now. So that is something that Cliff's been doing to log his activity. So it could be something that you guys, that anybody wants to try out. It is $30 a month to use it. But I think they have a 30-day free trial, right? So he really, I still like, I'm trying to stick with my pen and paper. It's hard with the baby. But yeah, he says the software they would use at a Fortune 500 company. So they've actually like taken this and really applied it. It's just for it's Beachbody Coaches is how it started, but now they're using other like MLMs and stuff. Oh, they use Advocare too. So anyways, it's a great thing to look up. So Teamzy, Teamzy. It's mobile friendly now if you guys want help with logging. It's also really helpful because it puts you can put an income goal, and it tells you every day the activity that you need to do in order to hit that income goal in 1 year, which was really helpful to me because I realized I was like
sales to contact ratio.
Sales to contact ratio.
Contact per sale or something.
Oh, okay, yeah. They didn't have that before. Yeah, so it tells you like yeah. So Cliff's all about that kind of stuff. So it's helpful if you need that. So I'll just bring that up. And
Oh my God.
I think that's Holly the baby.
I don't think I can mute. I'm sorry.
Oh,
That's
I got
Ella.
you. It's okay. I got you. Okay, I got you muted. That's so funny. And I understand. Okay. Did you guys have anything else you wanted to go over or any questions? Shay, did you have anything you wanted to add?
I'm unmuted. I'll probably never do a team call again in my living room. I see all these moms who do it, and I'm like, oh, I'll just do it on my couch. I'm like, never again. Anyway, no, I hear them. Yep, that's my kids.
All right.
Yeah, so no, that's it. Thanks, Patty. That's good information.
Thanks, you guys. I'll post the recording in the team page. Tag your coaches in it. And yeah, awesome.